Well, a lot of decisions had to be made. I had a career on stage, and my husband too, and that's how we earned our living. So one of us had to work. My husband was Chinese descent, so his English wasn't as perfect as mine. So with a deaf child, intonation and phrasing is so important, how you put that syntax and all of that in together. So I decided to give up my career because she was profoundly deaf, so there was no one I could sort of hand it to, or and I wanted to hear her voice. When you have a child, you so want to hear the sound of their voice. I don't know why that is so important, but you somehow don't know who they are until they begin to speak and language.
I wanted to ask my mum to teach me how to tie my shoelaces. And of course, this was before I had my cochlear implant, and my mum would nod, and then she'd be starting to tie my shoelaces together. And I'll be going, no, that's not what I meant. And so I would undo my shoelaces, and I wanted, and I kept expressing to her that I want you to teach me how to do them. And it was that very point where I actually realised that life was going to be hard for me, because for some reason people couldn't understand what I wanted to say or what I wanted them to do. I found it very frustrating. I knew that there was something wrong with me, but I didn't know what that was, and my parents couldn't seem to explain it to me. And every time when I was really frustrated, I would have like long periods of time where I would just sulk.
She used to be head banging, you know, all that, and she's not like that at all. No, and that was frustration. And she knew it was frustration, because they have intelligence inside, and they know what you're trying to get them to do, but you've misunderstood or they've misunderstood. So then it becomes exhausting for all parties, and they give up.
It took a long time because I had no effective communication with my parents, and therefore I was just kind of like alone in my own little world. And then my parents would eventually pry me with a lolly, and then and will get me out of my little sulking moment. Yeah,
they got to know you.
It was just very hard, a very black period in my life.
She had I would call it a dark personality. That's what we thought. And she got the implant, and it was like the sun came out in her personality. Yeah, absolutely.
Fairly dramatically?
Dramatically.
Was it?
Yeah.
I do remember that all of a sudden, like, I was kind of like, oh, okay. All of a sudden I could hear. I remember that. And then somehow my brain just went, okay, I can hear. And I started talking. Well, not talking, but I started babbling.
Very exciting process, really, and doing that and getting her switched on. And then within, a couple of weeks, she was babbling, doing the whole, and people used to say, what is she saying? I'd say, I don't care. It's just coming.
I would say, okay, before the cochlear implant, I would say that I saw everything black and white. It was a factual thing that my mum went to the car, turned on the keys, put the car keys in, turned it on. It was a factual thing, but then I never realised that when I got in the car, there was also a sound to it. And let's say that colour was grey, like it went with the car. And all of a sudden, things started to add on meaning. And also when my brother went with this truck, it would go, I just thought he was going, and all of a sudden I could hear, and I would say that sound was yellow or something like that. Like, instead of seeing black and white, as I did before, I started to see all the colours of the rainbow.
Well, I think that we spend a lot of time learning, not just being. Like learning, doing school and catching up and doing lessons and talking all the time. So I never spent, I just never shut up. And she used to go, stop, no more, because she was like, yeah. So, when you've missed language for 4 years, then it is quite a catch up. But look, the implant allowed us to do that. Amazing. And people don't have to do that now, because they can be implanted so early.
Early diagnosis is probably one of the major leaps forward, apart from the cochlear implant, that we can give a deaf child today.
William is my firstborn child, and he was picked up on the newborn hearing screen when he was 1 day old, and didn't pass the screen and proceeded on, and after I think he was 4 days old, we found out that he had profound hearing loss. So there was no family history, no known cause. He's been tested for a few different things. So he was eligible for a cochlear implant, and then when he was 6.5 months he received his first cochlear implant, and then he was nearly 9 months and he received his second cochlear implant. And throughout that time, after seeing Dimity when he was a few weeks old, we enrolled the Hear and Say Centre in the auditory verbal program.
Have you ever played with a rocket before, Mummy?
No, I haven't, Michelle.
No, do you want to see it? It's very big. It's very, very big. Here's my rocket. Now let's have a look at what parts there are to the rocket. Let's open the top part. Where's the top part? There's room for another astronaut beside that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
We need an orange astronaut.
Say it again, William.
Orange astronaut.
Oh, we need an orange astronaut. Here you go. Here's an orange one. Good remembering that that was the other colour.
There.
Oh, okay.
Snap.
Okay, so they're ready to take off, are they?
We were attending therapy every week initially, but now we're fortnightly, and his speech, language, comprehension and development is just amazing, and to all the assessments he's done compared to a age match hearing child, he's actually advanced for his age in all those aspects.
It was in the box where it was.
Oh, did you see it in my box before? Oh.
Are you peeking?
Control to Spaceship One. Prepare for liftoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, good job. You heard it.
All of a sudden, deaf is not deaf anymore. We've just got this new generation of children with hearing loss and significant hearing losses who function like children with normal hearing.
People often will, say to me they just can't believe that, he's deaf. So it's really, really changed his life and our lives, and it's just been absolutely wonderful.
93% of Hear and Say children go to regular schools and stay there, and they compare very favourably with their peers.
You can do anything you want to do, and you just got to achieve your goal and just get to that goal and work as hard as you can, and just have fun in life and just explore and just experience things.
Gina went to a mainstream school. Her first school was Our Lady of the Rosary, as a Catholic co-ed school. She was in a class with schoolmates, age appropriate. She wasn't needing to go in later as a result of her hearing loss. She did great at that school, and then after that she moved to St Aidan's, which is an all-girls Anglican school, and she's doing wonderfully.
Oh, Kayla! I did one bit and the 5 B's gone, and someone pushed them.
In 2004, when we first visited students at Tarralee and at Mount View Primary, I was amazed at the results. Their listening skills and language were excellent. But I wanted to be sure this standard of speech could be maintained once they entered mainstream schools and no longer had access to regular training sessions. So we revisited our students 6 years later.
Have a shot. Kayla!
Every time a teacher asks me something and there's too much noise around, I'd say, can you please repeat that? And then she repeats it, and then I do what she says.
Oh, good. And is there a noisy classroom?
It's pretty loud.
Yeah.
29 students.
I wonder why I'm so nice and no one's offending. Hi!
We've actually just enrolled her mainstream, and when we went for the interview, the head of campus, we were in his office for about 40 minutes, and basically he spoke just to Kayla and not to us. He wanted to just get as much information out of Kayla as he could. And then at the end of the 40 minutes, he said, "Do you have any questions?" And my husband said, "Yep, did you know she was born profoundly deaf, and he said, he looked at his notes and he said, oh my gosh, he's got a cochlear implant. And he couldn't believe it. So then he gave us the letter and said he'd love to have her at their school. So yeah, she's going mainstream and we couldn't be happier.
Scorpions are related to spiders, ticks and mites.
Box Hill High.
Box Hill High?
Yes, it's a very good school and I'm really enjoying it there. I'm the only deaf person there, so
Do they know that you've got a hearing problem?
yes.
Does it make any difference?
No, not really. I found that the help that I've gotten from Mount View has improved my ability to listen normally, well, like close to normally in the outside world, where I don't have help from my parents or from people who understand my deafness really well.
In fact, he has moved on to secondary school and is in a regular mainstream setting with no additional teacher of the deaf support. And on top of that, he's actually in an accelerated learning program.
That's amazing.
When I was 9 months old, my mum and dad found out that I was deaf.
Well, I think it's way better having an implant because I won't be able to hear, I won't be able to talk to people, I won't be able to like go to school and be able to put my hand up and I won't be able to do anything. I'll just sit down and just not talk pretty much.
Which would be a handicap for young people. Is it nice to switch it off sometimes?
Yes, when I'm going to sleep and when there's rain and storms and stuff, it's just
I see.
It's great. Yeah, and when Mum says if I get older and have a husband and he snores really loud, then I'll be able to turn off my ears off. So that's probably the best thing. Yeah.
To tell the truth, I didn't realise that today she would be the way she is when we first decided to get the implant. Amy, I mean, as you know, she speaks really, really well, and you know, I just would never look back now and not have it done. She's just, it's, you know, what she can do with her life now is, you know, no limits.
In 2008 is when I went to India and I went to the cochlear implant clinic there and I met some of the parents there, and I think one of the parents went really emotional because she's got a little 4-year-old daughter that was deaf as well, and she's got the same cochlear implant and everything, and the mother got really emotional and she came over and talked to me for half an hour just saying what's life like, is school good and everything, because she wanted to know. She was really emotional and I thought, don't worry, you know, your child will be like me, and she's like, yes, we'll hope that. And I said, she will be able to. She will be able to talk, she will be able to like hear other people, and she was like, she started to cry and I started to cry too because it was really emotional.
It's very exciting to think that we can help deaf people all around the world, just as we have with the children we've seen here. These deaf children have blossomed into confident, capable individuals, looking ahead to a bright future in which they can contribute socially and economically to our community. Yes, an intelligent young boy like Jack may realistically become a lawyer, and no one need ever know he is deaf. These children may have a disability, but they've shown it doesn't have to be an impediment. They were all born full of promise, and I suspect they'll keep that promise.